Let's get it. Aswand, Cruickshank, your one and only Move Swiftly speaker, checking in for a daily Move Swiftly thought, giving you a perspective on teamwork that you will not get anywhere else. One of the things been diving heavily into these past couple of days. Recorded an entire podcast episode about it, which will be out in probably in a few weeks, probably close to maybe a few months. You know, again, in the Move Swiftly world, the recordings and the material, the content, there's no shortage of content. So stuff I record months ago, maybe coming out now, things of that nature. You know, I put a lot out there. I put a whole lot out there. So just Google it, look me up, and you'll see for yourself. All right. One of the things I've been diving heavy into in this past couple days, past maybe I'll say 3 or 4 days, close to a week now, is the importance of a value proposition. All right, value proposition. I'm particularly doing this because I remember I brought an idea to my business coach, the coach that I hired. Shout out to Dre Baldwin. Been talking about him quite a bit on this podcast. He's been on this podcast as well. Title of his episode is "Work on Your Fucking Game." He's the founder of a company named Work on Your Game, right? So I brought an idea to him, brought a concept to him, and he shut it down, but he shut it down in the right way. He didn't shut it down as to say, things are just, I'm on the wrong path. He shut it down in a constructive way, and that's what I'd like to tell you guys. That's what I'm telling you guys is very important. It's important that you go out and seek people who can give you constructive criticism and not just shut down an idea, not just put some negative shit on social media. Anybody could do that, but someone that's giving you actual constructive criticism that's going to improve your business, those are the people you need to be finding and looking for and paying to help you out, all right? So he gave some constructive criticism about an idea that I brought to him and the entire group. And my main takeaway from his critique of it was, look, I got to get to work on developing the proper, a better value proposition, all right? And when it comes to the work I've been doing and, diving into whether it's videos, whether it's articles, or just anything I can find on value proposition, one of the things that has become the most important aspect of developing a great value proposition is being unique, all right? Being unique, finding the pain points of your customers and selling the hell out of the pain points of your customers. And as far as today's Move Swiftly thought, I'm going to give you an example of that. And it's actually something I planned on talking about weeks ago, but current events, things got ahead of me, and I never got a chance to actually bring this to your attention. But it was, say, 3 or 4 weeks ago. I was in Delray. It's in Delray for a farmer's market. It was a farmer's market, and I went with a lady. I won't put her name out there, but I went with this lady, right? And there was a guy there who was setting up. And the name is escaping me. I don't know. I don't remember the name of his company, but I remember specifically what he was selling. He was selling honey. And he was the reason I went over to his table was because the girl I was with, she was telling me that she told me that she followed him on Instagram and she saw what he does. She sees what he does every day. And he actually, goes into the honey. He goes to the bees. He goes to the beehives, and he actually pulls the honey out of the beehives, and then he goes and processes it or does it in a unique way where it's organic and things like that. And she was actually selling the honey to me as she was talking it up and talking about the process and what she sees on Instagram. And then he remembered her from Instagram and things like that. So here's what happens. Here's the reason I'm bringing all this to your attention, is because when it comes to being unique and developing a value proposition, these are the things you have to do. You have to focus on what you perceive to be your customer's pain, all right? So this guy who's selling the honey, he thought that this was my girlfriend, right? He thought it was we were official at that point. We were actually we're not dating or anything like that, but we were just together, and he had perceived it to be my girlfriend, and she and I kind of just went along with it. We didn't shut it down, and not that it's not a possibility, but anyway, we won't get into that. We're not going to get into that conversation right now. I'm going to keep you guys on business right now. All right. So anyway, he's talking about the honey, and he's like, look, I process my honey in a way in which it's going to make you better in the bedroom. Now, he said it in a bunch of different scientific terms and a bunch of shit that I not sign up for that class. I really didn't understand. But the main thing I heard is, if you buy this honey, you're going to be good in bed. he said it in front of me and her because it presented a better opportunity to make the sale. Now, I would have bought some, it's just he ran out, but he had me try some samples and he was telling me you could buy it online, you could do this, you could do that. And the reason I'm telling you all that is because when you're going out there and you're selling your product or you're presenting your services to somebody, focus on the pain. Focus on the pain. So now, as I've been doing my research, I'll use myself as an example. I'll go to people whose job it is to raise money for athletic programs, and I say, hey, look at the platform I build, look at everything I'm doing, whether it's the books I write, whether it's the speeches I give, the videos, the podcasts, whatever. You can use me as a new vetting process so you don't have to deal with all of the problems that are coming up with the transfer portal. If people hear my story, they're going to make better decisions in regards to where they transfer, if they enter the transfer portal, what they do after, all that kind of stuff. And that's the pain point of a lot of these people who are trying to raise money for athletic programs. Is like, I could raise all the money in the world, but at the end of the day, I got to worry about players leaving, I got to worry about coaches leaving, I got to worry about the fact that I don't know if I can pay my coaches, if I can keep the athletic program. All that stuff gets solved because of the vetting process from the beginning that Aswand is already creating that platform. That's how Pat McAfee got on ESPN. He already vetted out and created an audience of himself on his own, and then ESPN came in with the offer and bought his show to put it on ESPN and all that kind of stuff. So that's the point of me. That is the point of today's Move Swiftly Thoughts. Make sure when you're in your stages, when you're doing your work, make sure you're being as unique as possible, because when you're unique, then things start to open up for you. You can create new platforms. You can take advantage of this, social media fueled world that we happen to be a part of. Take advantage of it, because it's all about collaborating and figuring out exactly where you want to be, and your vision has to be 1,000% tight. All right. Main website to check out to dive deeper into all my work, makeyourmove.com. That's MAKEYAMOVE.com. One-stop shop for all your teamwork and your self-development needs. Aswand, Cruickshank, your one and only Move Swiftly speaker, checking out. You guys continue to move swiftly. We will talk more soon.